Hey guys, welcome back to Jason's Journey Builds. We have a quick video for you today. We're going to run our 302 this weekend, hopefully. And so before I get finished up, I need to get the distributor ready. I don't want to run points. I've had enough issues with points over the years, and could tell you guys some pretty fun stories, but I think they get a little long-winded and Joni will start huffing and puffing. But you guys that have dealt with points know what I'm talking about. So anyways, what I'm going with is the igniter, the Pertronix igniter. And what this does is it takes place of your points. You don't have to worry about your points burning out. You know, these things don't last forever, but I think the part number's up here. But this is just a real good alternative to points, a little bit hotter spark when you pair it with a like one of their flamethrower coils. So I just bought this kit. It's no, it's not as good as MSD, but again, there's no need to break the bank when I'm not going to be running this thing down the drag strip. So anyways, what we'll do is just show you guys, let's go through the steps on installing this kit in the distributor and get us another step closer to cranking. So here's the part number on the coil. It's again just a flamethrower. They say it's 25% more power than your stock coil. So if it's any's better, that's good. So anyways, it's a pretty simple, straightforward install. You just remove your distributor, remove your distributor cap. You don't have to pull your plug wires off or anything. And you just remove your points. So if you ever remove points, it's basically 2 screws. They say you're going to have to keep your ground strap because that will be reused. We have our other screw here. Alright, and then our condenser. And then you just remove your wire. Alright, so now what I'll do is I'll get a rag and just sort of clean this out. This distributor was not old, so it's actually in pretty good shape. So I'm just going to get the rag and clean it up. And basically all I was doing, guys, is just wiping off the cam there and the shaft. Alright, so once you have all that clean, it's basically like you're putting the points back in, except for this is your magnet, and what you'll do is you kind of rotate it till you feel it want to go on there. It doesn't matter where you set it, just as long as you have it set in the spline, and just make sure it's pushed down there good. So that's all there is to that. So we've got our magnet pushed on, so now we want to work on getting the igniter itself put in. If you look on the back of the igniter itself, it's got this little stand or pin. Well, that right there actually fits into the screw hole, because you know my points had 2 screws holding it in. So that pin actually fits down inside there and kind of helps locate it. Well, when I was about to put it in a second ago, this was not going in very smooth. And what was happening is my mechanical advance here, or the vacuum advance on the distributor, was keeping it off just a little bit. So what I did is I just put this little screwdriver tip in the advance and just rotated you're kind of off of it there. I kind of rotated the advance a little bit, just so when I set this in here and I get that pin lined up, this arm here was basically hitting the igniter. You know, at its rest position, it's right on top of it. So just kind of getting it out of my way for a minute. and then you'll have to gap these like you do points. So I'm gonna put my ground strap back on. And then the provided screw they send is just a little bit longer. So you'll want to use it. Okay, and they also provide a feeler gauge, which is 30 thousandths of a plastic feeler gauge. And you just want it between your igniter and the magnet itself. And I'm just a little tight, so I'm gonna pull up on it just a little. There we go. It's still a little too tight. Okay. And that's more of a tight 30, so you can see that there. All right. Just make sure that's tight. Then, basically all we do now is we'll run our wires. Sorry. We'll run our wires through the distributor. I bet I couldn't have done that again. And just make sure it pulls through till it seats. And that's all there is. I'm going to put a little wire tie on that. Oh, there we go. And just pull that slack through that grommet. I thought maybe they were adhered to it. That's better. I'll get my tool out. So this is all installed. I took the tool out, and the vacuum advance, as you can see, still works. So now we're ready to put it back in the engine. So the last thing I want to do is put on my distributor clips, and basically it's just comes with these pins. Well, they spread out on the end, and you just stick them through this. This isn't anything special. Johnny just wanted to show it, but all I do is put it in, take my screwdriver and spread them out so they don't fall out. Did you see me not put it on, put it through the hole?
No, I'm too busy chasing you around like a little kid holding a sucker.
I can't believe I missed it. All right, let's try that again. What? What am I doing? Guess I have to get a pair of glasses. There it goes.
You want to borrow my glasses?
No, that's all. You don't have to show that.
Okay.
Why do I feel like it's going to be in the video? Okay. Okay, the last thing with this, guys, I didn't mention, of course, this is your red goes to your positive on your coil and the black to the negative. So then you have just your power wire from your ignition goes to the same post on your coil. And that's all you need. As long as this thing's in time, this thing should crank up and run fine. And we don't have to worry about points getting crud on them, burning out, snapping, popping. So let me show you the engine. All right, guys, we're getting our distributor ready so we can crank this engine this weekend. I'm excited about it. I'm pretty close. I've plumbed it up. We'll talk about it a little bit more when I think we'll have a separate video on it actually cranking this thing. But I'm either a couple hours away or maybe tomorrow morning. But more than likely I'm going to have to hear it pop off before I go to sleep tonight. So Anyways, well, I guess that wouldn't be fair to you guys. You probably want to be here when we crank it the first time. Anyways, distributor. If you ever built an engine and it's had a long time, I highly recommend you priming your oil pump and make sure you send the oil all through the engine. Right now I've got the oil in it. I've put a bottle of zinc additive in it, and we'll talk about that again. I'll give you part numbers. But I want to go ahead and get my distributor put in today, so that's why I'm going to prime it one last time. So what I did is I built me a priming tool, and it's basically, you can use the chuck end of like these little multi-bits. I pulled off anything that could fall in the engine, little snap rings, pulled all that off, and then I tacked it to another basically multi-tool screwdriver. I popped the handle off. This way it won't fall off in my engine. So on my oil pump, I've got a keeper under the bottom of it. These 302s, if they get built and the oil pump rod you don't put that little keeper on it, it's real easy to pull it up, and then your rod will fall off in the oil pan, then you got a mess. So I've seen it happen. It's happened to me, so just be careful with that. So we'll just pump it up real quick, see if we have any oil pressure, and see what happens. These engines, if you're doing this for the first time, your engine is going to turn counterclockwise at the distributor, so you'll want to take your drill and make sure you turn your oil pump counterclockwise. So, there's the oil pressure on the gauge over there.
It is 58. About 60 and a half.
That was it.
Okay.
And what I'm doing is, the pump thinks the engine's running, so what it's doing is pumping oil like a heart. You know, the oil pump is pumping oil all over the engine, into the lifters, into the mains, everything. So when I crank this thing the first time, it's not a dry start. You don't want that. So to install a distributor, your engine needs to be at top dead center. I haven't rotated the engine since I built it, since I adjusted the valves. And so I left it at top dead center. I can look down here. I moved it just a little bit. I can tell my pointer's off. If you look right down there. But you can't just go by this, guys. You got to check. You got to make sure it's on top dead center on your compression stroke. Right there before it fires, because your rotor button is going to be pointing at the spark plug wire, which sends fire, which makes your engine run. And if you just rotate your engine till your pointer's on 0, you could be on the back side of that, which will be 180 out. So if you want to figure out just an easy way to do it, is have somebody with you take the number 1 spark plug wire out, or number 1 spark plug out, put your finger in the hole and just take a wrench and rotate the engine until you feel the compression pushing on your finger. Well, then you know you're on the compression stroke, and then you can come down here and look at your pointer and just put it on 0 and install your distributor. Okay guys, so here's what you want to do. Before you put your distributor cap in, you can go ahead and slide your cap on, and it'll show you where number 1 should be. It usually has it on your distributor cap. That's number 1. So when I put my distributor in, I want this rotor button to be pointing at number 1. So let's see. Right there. This doesn't have to be perfect, and the reason is, and that's what Joni was quizzing me on a second ago, is, to time this thing, you have about 30 degrees that we can rotate this distributor once it's in there, and that'll fine tune where this is in relation to the cap. So what I want to do now is set the distributor in, And what I want to do is kind of have enough distance where I can back this thing up forward and aft. Because when you set it in and it lines up with the camshaft, it'll try to rotate on you. So basically, this is pointing almost to that screw underneath, just on the back side of it. So I can just keep that in mind. Let's see. Let's see which way it's going to try to rotate in. Right there will be, let's see. And that's how much adjustment I have now. See, when I pull the cap up, that's pointing. Yeah, I think I have plenty of adjustment right there. Okay. All right, when I went to make sure it was down, the oil pump the shaft didn't completely line up. So what I have to do is just put my tool in there and rotate the oil pump just a little bit. And usually that'll help it line up into the bottom of the distributor. All right, so you have to play with it just a little bit. What I had to do was just kind of take my tool in there and rotate the oil pump shaft just a little bit each time until I could get my distributor where I wanted it. Because again, now I'm pointing towards one. See if I put my cap on, one is right here. So it's a little on the back side of it. I would really like it to be right there, pointing at one. So I'm gonna move it one more time. This is a preference. It would run where it was at, but this way I just know I have plenty of room to set my timing once we get the engine running. Easy to do it now on a cold engine before it gets hot. Let's see where we end up now. Right there's one, Joni. See, and now I'm out here. And now I can swing it all the way to the hose or all the way here to the intake. So I'm basically in the middle. So I like that better. It's just a couple extra minutes of adjustment. And it's all the way down. I know I'm into the rod, which is no problem because my distributor's bottomed out here. So now I just put on my retainer and then I'll wipe off that oil I dripped on it. Man, I hope this thing runs good. If it doesn't, I'm gonna blame you.
Nope. I told you to go buy one. I was tired of messing with it.
Yeah. Still gonna put that video you helping me build the engine on it.
No way.
Alright. There we go. So now I can put some plug wires on it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the spark plug wires on the engine, and I won't sit here and do the whole video of me putting spark plug wires on. But I do want to say that it does have a different firing order. It's got the newer HO firing order, which Lenati has ground into this camshaft. The original firing order was 154. Well, looking at that light, I'm blind. 154 2 6 3 7 8. Oh, really? It's like I'm seeing sunspots. And then Lenati's timing order is 1372 6548. So this has the HO firing order in it now. So I'll update that here in just a second when I put the spark plug wires on and make you guys come back to the next video and hear this thing run. Anyways, hopefully this helps you if you're thinking about going to the Pertronix ignition. It's pretty simple install, you guys. It's about as quick as this video. No big deal, and I hope it works as good as it's supposed to. So we'll see you on the next one. You guys have a great day. Y'all take care. Bye.